I realized there are unique, outrageous acts of love that can be committed by me and me alone, and that is the unique purpose, obligation, joy, and responsibility. It's my ability to respond to reality. That's my outrageous act of love.
A planetary awakening in love through a unique self-symphony.
What a privilege it is to be part of this global community.
There's a voice within me that asks, who am I, right? Who am I in all of this?
Each and every one of us has a unique gift to give that we desperately need.
Welcome to the heart of the revolution, everyone. It is with deep joy that we are together today in one mountain, many paths. Our mission is what Dr. Mark Goffney and Barbara Marx Hubbard call a planetary awakening in love through unique self-symphonies. We are activating a new humanity and awakening as a new species, Homo Amor, the fulfillment of Homo sapiens. As a church, a synagogue, a mosque, a temple, a zendo, no one is excluded, everyone is included, and we come together to attune to the evolutionary impulse awakening within us. Welcome home, everyone. I am Christina Tehel, the co-executive director, along with Krista Josepha, Jamie Long, and Jacqueline Clark. And we are so delighted to be together with each and every one of you today for our 307th live community broadcast. What a privilege it is to be part of a global community where we contribute to humanity's flourishing. Use the Zoom and the Facebook chat functions to say hello, to let us know where you're from, to speak your prayers, and to resonate the Dharma. On Zoom, do make sure your chat settings say everyone so that we can all hear from you. Care to step into the work and the practice of creating the great Homo Amor library. It's such exciting times and we're doing such fantastic deep dives into the Dharma. Reach out to me. My email is in the chat box now. Our weekly gathering, Writing to the Evolutionary Love Codes, is not meeting in August. Do join us when we begin again on September 5th. For those of you who are new to One Mountain, Many Paths, we normally receive a very deep transmission from Dr. Mark Goffney of First Principles and First Values. For 2 more weeks, Dr. Mark is stepping back, inviting our unique self-symphony to play our unique instruments where we focus on practicing and embodying first principles and first values, the new story for a new humanity. We have an incredible lineup of people who have been involved, most of them for many years, in studying, living, and generating the planetary awakening in love that is at the core of the political and social revolution of love. We miss Dr. Goffney and we hold him close to our hearts, blessing him in this time of sacred travel in Europe. We look forward to his return on September 11th. Also in September, as part of launching the Unique Self Institute, we will resume our Saturday study group to dive into Awakening Your Unique Self with Claire Molinar, David Cicerci, and myself. For more information, look for an email coming from Jamie Long. What to expect today? First, a Dharma recap from myself. Then we move into our intention setting with Jamie Long. Then David Cicerci will resonate the evolutionary love code that we're working with. Then we move back into Jamie's story of vocational arousal. Then a clip from Barbara Marx Hubbard. And then Suzette will bring us into allurement and stepping in, followed by David with meditation to enter prayer. Finally, Krista will invite us deeper into community, and then we will bring everyone on for our goodbyes and a short dance party. In 2017, Suzette Mesa participated in the Planetary Awakening Accelerator with Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Mark Goffney. From that time on, her desire to immerse herself in the Dharma has become a key tenet of her life's journey. Today, Suzette Mesa is the board director for the Center for Integral Wisdom and functions in various executive roles within the Foundation for Conscious Evolution and CIFER Inc., including running the technology for the weekly One Mountain Many Paths, managing Dr. Mark's vibrant schedule, and helping wherever is needed. Suzette lives in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California with her husband, 2 teenagers, and a mischievous cat. Jamie Long is the co-executive producer of One Mountain Many Paths. In 2013, Jamie experienced an inner shift toward the new story of the universe after joining a discussion group called Cosmos. In 2019, Jamie participated in the 11th Hour Series course with Dr. Goffney and Barbara Marx Hubbard. Jamie has a degree in engineering, and he currently works in the Department of Finance at the City of San Diego. I welcome all who are new. We need you. If this is your first time, these teachings do stand on their own, and every week's teachings does build on the previous week. We do encourage you to go back and listen to previous episodes. Today, you may hear unique language. Trust the magic ways that the language or Dharma comes through your understanding. One Mountain Many Paths is radically committed to telling the new universe story. Now for my Dharma recap from last week. The fierce and tender journey of Homo Amor. Last week, Kirsten Zohar and Jacqueline Clark took us on what they called a fierce and tender journey of Homo Amor. Kirsten set the framework. How do we respond to what we call the meta crisis, both with a new story of value and with our own transformation of Homo Amor, the fulfillment of Homo sapiens? Or, as Kirsten called her part of the presentation, Dharmic distinctions as a path from polarization to paradox and beyond, pointing to how the Dharma of cosmoerotic humanism is actually based on a brilliant set of distinctions. What are distinctions? To distinguish something means to take something from an undifferentiated background and bring it to the foreground. It is not only that we distinguish between two things that are kind of the opposite of each other, for example, between ego and unique self, but we also distinguish something from nothing, foreground from background, so that for the first time, we can point to something and give it a name. For example, Take the distinction between ordinary love and outrageous love. Ordinary love is our understanding of love in mainstream culture. It is personal and often a strategy of the ego. It is small. Some contrast that with a notion of an absolute love that is unconditional, timeless, and impersonal. Outrageous love, here's the distinctions, on the other hand, is the greatest force of the universe. It transcends and includes both ordinary love and absolute love. It is strong. It is the underlying force of the entire universe and of evolution itself. Jacqueline deepened us in this evolutionary journey that we are all on, this journey to evolutionary unique self, homo amor, being a human being who feels deeply within ourselves, within the very, very cells of our being, that we are the leading edge of evolution, that we are an embodied experience of being lived by love, not merely as a separate self, but as part of the actual field of love, with the realization that, yes, we affect that field, that we are causing that field, that we are an individuated expression of the whole, a unique self, that we have never lived before and will never live again, that we are the leading edge of 13.7 billion years of evolution. Wow. So here we are in the fierce and tender journey of homo amor, the new human and the new humanity, claiming our tenderness, our fierceness, our radical thrust, our aliveness, our drive, and our power, living the evolution of Homo sapiens as we move through the selves, from separate self to true self, to unique self, to evolutionary unique self, doing the work that is necessary to evolve and not getting stuck in the other stories or in our story of brokenness. Now, I invite us to more deeply enter into the holy and sacred space of One Mountain, Many Paths, and I turn my word to you, beloved Jamie Long.
Thank you, Christina Tehel. I'm so delighted to be with you today at One Mountain, Many Paths. And today we continue our exciting summer program by sharing our practices and our stories of living in this revolution inspired by Dr. Mark Gaffney and Barbara Marx Hubbard. My name is Jamie Long, and I'm so thrilled to present to you today with my beloved partner, Suzette Mesa. We're both in the One Mountain production team together with others. To begin, let me just share a little bit of my background. I have long loved science, and about 10 years ago, I encountered the New Universe story in which I literally fell in love with the cosmos as evolution in 13.8 billion years of emergence. And then in 2019, I found the online Evolutionary Church by Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Mark Gaffney. And I joined the online live program called The 11th Hour with Dr. Mark and Barbara. And in 2020, I wrote my first outrageous love letter in the in Christina Tehel's Monday Writing Group, which blew my heart open with outrageous acts of love. And so within a few months, One Mountain's need for video editing became my complete allurement. And now I study privately with Dr. Mark, and I help produce this weekly broadcast. And so now I would like to set an intention for today and open a heart space where we can begin to tell our stories of allurement. First, let's just relax together. Please, I invite you to take a deep breath with me. Just notice where you are at this moment. And I ask 3 questions. Who are we? Where are we? And what are we to do? These 3 questions are the great doorways to cosmoerotic humanism, as articulated by Dr. Mark Goffney. And rather than respond directly, I'm gently inviting us to play in this field of these 3 great questions, these questions which orient us in the cosmos, these questions which open up to the new story of first principles and first values. This new story of 13.8 billion years is the story of allurement, which has changed my life. Can you open your heart to the new universe story? Can you open your heart to the questions? Who are we? Where are we? What are we to do? Now let me invite our intention with a guided visualization. So please find a relaxed position, and I'll ask you to use your imagination with me. So please close your eyes and now picture in your mind's eye a beautiful 5-year-old girl today. Pick any child that you may know, or even a child that you imagine. Please see her face as clearly as you can. And we give this child's name Hope. Please visualize this 5-year-old child, Hope. And perhaps she's laughing, or she's dancing, or she's crying or sleeping. Can you notice what color is her hair? So let's rest with hope in our mind's eye. And now, let's take hope on a journey to the future. So using our imagination, please, let's imagine 5-year-old Hope getting older, and we're going to travel with her through her life. So slowly, 5-year-old is getting older. Imagine Hope is now 10 years old. How is she changing? What does she look like? Slowly getting older with me. Now she's in high school. Notice as she turns 18 years old. Can you see her? She's a young adult, filled with dreams and visions. Now, let's continue our journey. Let's move into Hope's 20s. She's beginning her life. Where is she? What kind of vocation is Hope doing 20 years from now? Feel this power of imagination we have. We're going on. Let's continue with Hope. Now Hope moves older, past her 20s, moving into her 30s. What kind of relationships does she have? Who does she love? And sitting with her, she moves on, getting older. She moves into her mid-40s. How is she wrestling with who she is? And how is she making sense of her life? And what is the world around her like? So please imagine as Hope going through her life. Let's continue. Now Hope is moving into her 50s. What does Hope look like 50 years from now? We're traveling through her life and perhaps glimpse at the type of world she's living in. And we'll keep going. Let's move into her 60s. Maybe she has gray hair. Can you see Hope's face? Can you see her living her life? We're almost done. Continue. She's in her 70s, enjoying the family around her. And now she finally arrives at the age of 83 years old. The year is 2100 at the end of this century. And stop. She's 83 years old. And so please, let's spend some time. Let's look in her face. What is the life of Hope in 2100? You've seen her live her entire life. And now take this moment. I invite you maybe to smile at her, to say hello. Can you imagine the world in 2100? What kind of planet did we leave for Hope in the year 2100? Can you feel into her world? And now I gently invite us. It's time for our goodbyes. I'm giving her a hug. And now it's time to use this powerful imagination. Let's come back into our world in 2022. Feel your feet on the ground. And you may open your eyes again. Thank you. And how does that feel for you? What comes up for you? Imagining these lives living into the future. Thank you. For me, a large part of my journey in evolution is precisely this connection to the future and into the past. And so, as we set our intention together and we get ready to read the Evolutionary Love Code, I want to set the intention to feel that urgent call by the future. For me, the intention to feel the new universe story as a love story in which I participate. I feel the joy of participating in the field of evolutionary love. And as outrageous lovers, we feel called by the future to become vocationally aroused, and we commit our outrageous acts of love for hope. And so I hand my word now to David to read our Evolutionary Love Code for today.
Thank you, Jamie. Wow, it's like 2100. It seems so far away until I imagine hope, right? It's like suddenly it's like, oh, it's actually here. And it's like hard to even believe that that time will come sooner than we realize. So friends, I'm about to resonate the code, which is going to actually bring us into this evolutionary impulse that Jamie's inviting us to lean into. So here's this week's evolutionary love code. Homo amor is vocationally aroused to commit outrageous acts of love. They commit outrageous acts of love that are a function of their unique self. Outrageous acts of love are almost always that which we can get away with not doing. An outrageous act of love might be smiling when we want to withhold, or opening our heart when it's more comfortable to keep it closed. An outrageous act of love might be changing the tone of your voice. It might be sending a text with an overflowing heart. It might be taking a stand when we can get away with not taking a stand. Outrageous acts of love are when we give ourselves outrageously beyond our traumas and our rackets and our issues and our patterns. With true outrageous acts of love, we can always rationalize to ourselves why we don't have to do them. Genuine outrageous acts of love are the fabric of the intimate universe, realizing its omega point as you, as me, as us. What moves us to commit outrageous acts of love is evolution itself, Goddess herself, she. And with that, I turn my word back to you, Jamie.
Thank you, David. This evolutionary love code is about vocational arousal and outrageous acts of love. And so the call of the future is exactly that, vocational arousal for me. As I joined this band of outrageous lovers at One Mountain Mini Paths, I'm vocationally aroused with the joy of feeling the universe story as a love story. And what an incredible feeling to step into this unique self-symphony at One Mountain Mini Paths. When you commit outrageous acts of love, it's not work. And so I want to share with you and give you a small taste of our symphony behind the scenes at One Mountain Mini Paths. And so every Sunday after the broadcast, I send the raw video footage of the basic episode format to our lovely video team, and then magic happens. Our co-executive producer, Jacqueline Clark, she watches the hour-long video and she sends timestamps and gorgeous feedback about the episode. And so I want to notice that Eros is intimacy in which we can feel our partners. And even though Jacqueline is in the United Kingdom and I'm in the United States, I'm feeling Jacqueline's attention every moment I touch the videos. Her attention showers me with love, and it's hard to describe the way I feel being held. And I feel this similar kind of allurement, this love attention from our other video team members, Ujis and Krista and Wanda, and we create videos the whole week. And we send replay emails to everyone at One Mountain. And I also, in another group of gorgeous intimacy with Christina and David, as we do a Dharma co-study group on Saturdays, we co-create together this gorgeous group of online seekers and lovers online, studying the Dharma together. For me, this is Unique Self Symphony. It's the tangible presence of outrageous love. So now I would like to hand a few minutes on this topic about vocational arousal of Unique Self Symphony to our co-founder of Evolutionary Church and of One Mountain Mini Paths, Barbara Marx Hubbard. She embodied more than almost anyone I know this sense of calling from the future with her wild, wild enthusiasm. We miss Barbara desperately, and we hold her presence dearly since her passing. So it is with great, great pleasure now we play this very short clip from 2017 of Barbara Marx Hubbard talking about vocational arousal and Unique Self Symphony. The clip is about 3.5 minutes long. So please start the video.
Think, where are you going that's new vocationally? what is calling to you, to me, to Mark, Lisa, to the entire church, facing a planetary crisis of devolution in our lifetime, which is even much more than we thought the atomic bomb was. It's all these other things. And facing this incredible potential of being the next stage of evolution internally as well as externally through vocation. So everybody's calling from within, everybody's impulse is new, vocational, because that you're in the next turn on the spiral. So let's all just take a moment. I guess that's a phrase I always use. Take a moment to see what is your vocational newness. Not that I've already done this all before, but take the lid off the top of your vocation as part of Homo Universalis, as Homo Amore, facing the devolution of your species or the evolution of your species as you. Let's breathe into it. My vocation, I've taken the lid off the top of it, is to see the planetary awakening connecting on the noosphere, just like Teilhard saw, to be what we consider to be the purpose of this church, a planetary awakening in love through a unique self-symphony. I'm taking that as my goal. And then when I do that, if you do that as members of this church, what is your particular part? Mine might be telling the story and giving the invitation. Yours might be healing your parents, but you're all in the context. Context is everything, as Elizabeth Satora says. So Mark, we're in the context of birthing the new species at a time of radical danger or radical breakthrough. No species has ever had this privilege before, because this is exactly the time. And then the next one is innovations everywhere. And Mark, I've had a real deep insight about the Wheel of Co-Creation 2.0, and we have not fully done this in the church. Wheel 2.0, if you could imagine the Wheel of Co-Creation, our turn on the spiral, and you're in it, with your unique impulse coming from the heart of the hub of the wheel, as a frequency of the unique self-symphony filling the wheel. Wow, with you and me, and let's say 5 billion people. It has occurred to me that we're all here. I don't mean that everybody on earth is perfectly good and wants to do this, but I mean there's enough of us that are lovers that want to connect, to co-create, to make an attractor for planet Earth that we've never had before. So I'm saying that's my vocation, and I feel it's the vocation of the church, and I feel it's the membership of the church, each contributing their own uniqueness through their own incarnation. And then I'm adding to this the use of high technology with love.
Thank you, Barbara. And Barbara is arousing us to take the next step to become Homo Amor. And what I hear from Barbara is a call to vocational newness. She asks, what is calling me and to you and to this entire One Mountain Evolutionary Church? Barbara says that when we know who we are, we can feel our calling. And it goes back to the questions of cosmo-erotic humanism. Who are we? Where are we? And what are we to do? And so now Barbara and Mark wrote this beautiful free ebook online called Vocational Arousal. And I wish to offer to you now a chance to download it. It's a short book. It's available. It'll be available here in the chat box. Thank you, Krista. And also it's available online at Barbara Marx Hubbard's website. And in this ebook, Barbara says, when you get the implications of who you are a unique self, it changes everything. And so now I leave you with this vocational arousal. And now let's hear the next step in this unique self symphony, what it's like to be a part of this movement. And so I turn my word to Suzette Mesa for how to get involved in this great Da Vinci movement to change the source code of culture in one mountain, many paths.
Thank you, Jamie. And thank you, Barbara Marx Hubbard and Dr. Gaffney, for laying the foundation and charting the path for all of us to make a difference in this world by playing our unique instrument in the unique self symphony. So what I want to do today is, it's my pleasure to share with you. I'm going to do that for you right now. My story. I'm going to give you a little glimpse into the allurement that brought me here, and maybe just as importantly, to provide a glimpse into what enlivens me every day, to do more, to be more. And as Jamie so beautifully has had us all imagine, to provide hope to future generations that are calling us to act now. In this telling, I also want to open up a glimpse into the inside of this magical place that we're on and inspire you to come and play with us, not only because you're desired and needed, but also because this moment in time is so fleeting and the opportunity is so real and poignant. So for me personally, I feel this sense of urgency deep within me. There's this pull from the future and a push from the past that's constantly running through me. And I can feel my grandmothers strengthening me, guiding me, and really helping me to move in the subtle ways that grandmothers do by leading me by their example. I really think that, women have known intuitively that love really can move mountains. And that simple act of giving and receiving love has a huge impact. Knowing that even as we sometimes in our small areas of influence can make a difference. I have a gift to give that no one else can, and that is in my unique obligation and profound joy to give it, even when no one else is looking. I truly feel that there's a bright future that awaits us, knowing if we can act now from that place of love that has kept our families throughout history, we will be able to change the source code of culture and guide our evolutionary trajectory in the right direction. So, how did I get here? What alerted me here? How do I know I am the right place and the right time? What keeps me going, like the energizing bunny so many people often call me? Well, my journey actually began when I took Barbara Mark Hubbard's evolutionary women's class in 2016. And I went on to study directly with her and Dr. Mark Gaffney in the Planetary Awakening Accelerator course the next year. To say that was intriguing and had found my place in the world be another statement. You see, my whole career had been spent on what some would call the bleeding edge. When the internet began, I joined my first startup company and got to see firsthand what it would be like to be part of the crazy people so that embraced new technology and envisioned a new way of doing things that had never been done before. After helping to build 2 more startup companies, you could say I found my calling in bringing new technology to life and helping visionaries ground their ideas into tangible outcomes, and in supporting the mad scientist types by creating dynamic teams that shared a mission and trusted each other and had others' best interests in heart. So you can see I'm in the right place, right? Which brings me to the most provocative Dharma that we are passionately committed to share with the world. I think this picture captures how it feels on the inside, to not only be allured to its music, but to let it dance you. It is actually hard to describe how yummy it is to be part of this band of outrageous lovers so filled with joy that even the most mundane tasks feel pleasurable. So since pleasure is so core to the Dharma, let me turn there now. But don't worry, I'm not going to show you some X-rated films right now. In fact, for those of you that know me, you would probably be able to tell that although I love the Dharma and totally embrace the message, I am still struggling with that most evocative word that starts with an F. What I am comfortable with, though, however, is technology and the importance of frameworks, formulas, and practices. It is here that my mind and heart are blown open with the depth of knowledge that is not only rooted in leading edge science, but in the interior sciences. And they're those are the great traditions that have stood the test of time for thousands of years. It never ceases to amaze me, actually, how Dr. Mark Gafni has been able to weave together and brilliantly articulate with great rigor how we all fit into this unique, universal love story that brings so much hope through pleasure. As a mother of 2 young adults, bringing this journey into the real world, the opportunity to share techniques that help them to experience the great pleasure and getting to know who they are, where they are, and what they are doing is profound. So let's take a moment now to reorient ourselves in this crucial understanding of who we are, and let's read this together. So I'm going to ask you all to read it. We won't turn on the videos, but you can read it with me. Who are you? You are an irreducibly unique expression of love intelligence and love beauty that is initiating and animating eros of all that is, that lives in you and through you, that never was, is, or will ever be again, other than through you. And as such, you have a unique gift to give to your unique circle of intimacy and influence that only you can give. So now what I'd like to do is to have you answer a few questions with me. And the first one that we want to ask ourselves is why? So why this? So in this part of the program, it's your turn to step in. We're going to give you some work to do, okay? We're going to share your voice. Well, it's actually not your voice, your chat voice. So to do this exercise, what we'll do is I'm going to use this, what I call my favorite shower technique. And I'll ask you a question. And then what you'll do is you'll type in your answer, but not enter it in yet until I say to go. In this way, we'll all be showered with your loving answers all at once. Okay, ready? So here's your first question. Why do you think getting the Dharma into the world now is so important? So I'm going to watch the chat box and don't put anything in there yet. And what I'm going to do is close that down a bit so it's a little bit of an echo. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to count to 5. And when I hit 5, then what I want you to do is to put your answer in. And I'll read a couple of them. And then we'll move on to the next question. So ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. Put it in the chat box. Oh my goodness, it's lighting up. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So just to give you a sense of what's out there for survival's sake, to unite people with the common story, because hatred is rampant expanding our love energy, because now is the time. Because the public discourse is so grim, doom and gloom. Awesome. Thank you. Because we need to hear it. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Perfect. You guys are doing great. Okay, next question. Here we go. Why do you think you have been alert here? Okay, again, don't hold all your chats until I actually tell you to go. All right, and we're going to do it all at the same time. So you can start typing, why do you think you have been alert here? Okay, and I'm going to give you a couple extra seconds to really think about this one. But again, on the count of 5, everybody hit enter. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. All right, look at that. Woo! It's like lighting up. This is so fun. Okay, good. So some of the answers, because I need to give my gifts and I need to strongly be challenging that too. To awaken the one heart in love and teach its language. Awesome. It's opportunity to play a larger game for everyone. Connection and deep inside. Spirit loves me outrageously. Yes, yes, yes. Well, thank you for that. Now there is one more thing that we have to do. Now that we've touched on the who, the when, the what, and the where, there is only one more question that you need to help us ask. And you need to ask yourself, and that is how? So how would you like to join and play with us to create a planetary awakening in love through a unique self-symphony? So again, think about your answer. We're going to give you a few moments to make this the best love shower ever. And I will do our count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, go. All right, look at this good stuff. Yummy. All right. So 2. Let's go to the top here. Social activism and gardening. Oh my gosh, wonderful. Being aware of awareness. Launch the Unique Self Institute. Yes. To love you outrageously. We all play together. You are my family. Yay. Let's make booklets of the 10 festivals we did together. Okay, there's a call out to publish the books with Mark and gorgeous books, The Evolution of Love. Loving participation by following what my soul says. Through love and the talents I am blessed with, by looking for and expressing ways to express love. Awesome. Passionately. Making the online events experience for attendees outrageous. Yay. Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I so appreciated this time and space to share my story, our stories, and for you to lavishly share your love with us. So with that, I will turn it over to David to bring us into prayer.
Thank you, Suzette. You know, here we often say that your personal love story is chapter and verse in the universe, a love story. And Jamie and Suzette so beautifully shared how basically the force of Eros, as we go into meditation at this point, the force of Eros living in them actually wove together the fabric of the universe so that their stories came together to us right here. So as we meditate to enter into prayer, what we're doing is we're evoking and invoking the presence of the ultimate. And what is the ultimate? Well, we can call the ultimate God, we can call it Eros, right? We can call it reality, spirit. The God you don't believe in doesn't exist. I prefer the word God because it feels right to me. But here we actually see God and the divine in 3 persons, or we can actually perceive reality in the ultimate sense through 3 persons. So in the 3rd person, we see the force of reality that binds all things together. So we can actually see God all around us through nature, through the stories that reveal Eros alluring Jamie, for example, to take the Cosmos course, or Suzette to study with Barbara Marx Hubbard, and Barbara Marx Hubbard to study with Mark and to work together. So that force that has guided and woven together these love stories is the force of Eros. So this force that binds all things together is also the force that animates evolution, from the Big Bang to cosmological evolution, to our solar system, to life on Earth, to conscious human life, to Homo Amor, right? So it's our lives today here. So that same force moved all things to higher and higher elegant order, to more wholeness, from quarks to culture, as Marx says, from mud to Mozart, from bacteria to Bach. This isn't just a random universe. There's qualities of randomness within the force of evolution that moves all things toward more wholeness. So we can see and perceive this God in third person through this mysterious energy that draws us together, the mysterious intelligence behind an ecosystem, the chlorophyll molecule itself, all the intelligence behind that. This is God in the third person. So then we see the awe and the magnificence around us. We experience that in the third person. And we also see that this love story of the universe lives within us. So we can turn toward the first face of God and realize that Eros lives in us, as us, and through us. That if we look within, we can actually see the source of the cosmos breathing through us, that God is having a unique experience. That beyond my personal egoic story, we can realize our oneness with all things and then inhabit our personal story once again as the unique expression of that oneness of God. So we can delight in allowing God to see with our eyes. We can love by seeing with God's eyes. So let's actually take a moment and breathe into that presence. And we may all have our different practices, but the simplest practice is to breathe. And as we look within, the deeper we go, the closer we get to that voice of God that we can actually speak to, that we can actually turn to in second person. So finally, when we evoke the presence of the ultimate, we turn toward the ultimate. We turn toward the infinity of intimacy, not just the infinity of power, which is the animating force of the universe, but the infinity of intimacy that holds us, that feels us, that knows us, that recognizes us, that desires us, that is here in front of us, listening, feeling to everything. So even in this moment when it's like, oh, I can't feel God, well, bring that to God and say, God, I can't feel you, right? I don't know you. I don't understand you. Why are you so confusing to me? That is experiencing God, the infinity of intimacy in second person. So as we go into prayer and we listen to this song that helps to open our hearts, we trust that we can turn towards the infinity of intimacy and say, I need you, and pray for everything. Pray for ourselves, egocentric love, pray for our people, ethnocentric love, pray for all people, world-centric love, and pray for all beings, all things, animate, inanimate, past, present, and future, for the entire cosmos, cosmocentric love. So as we go into prayer, let the prayers flow through the chat box. So I pray for everything. So take us aside, Christina, to the holy and broken hallelujah.
Now I've heard there was a secret chord that David played and it pleased the Lord. But you don't really care for music, do you? It goes like this: the fourth, the fifth, the minor fall, the major lift, the baffled king composing hallelujah. Hallelujah. was strong, but you needed proof. You saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty and the moonlight overthrew you. She tied you to a kitchen chair, she broke your throat and she cut your hair, and from your lips she drew the hallelujah. You say I took the name in vain. I don't even know the name. But if I did, well really, what's it to you? There's a blaze of light in every word. It doesn't matter which you heard, the holy or the broken. Hallelujah. I did my best, it wasn't much. I couldn't feel, so I tried to touch. I've told the truth, I didn't come to fool you. And even though it all went wrong, I'll stand before the Lord of song with nothing on my tongue but hallelujah.
All right, let's go to the chat box and lift all of these prayers, magnify them. Becca says, I pray to feel the universe more intimately from Bob. Yes, I prayed for Jamie-ness and Suzette-ness to shine in the world. I pray to receive and believe in abundance for all more than ever before, says Krista. Amen. Shahat, I pray forever to be of service and ignite my focus and open my next level of passion ever deeper and deeper. Yes, Shahat. Carol, I pray that we all realize the path we are on is moving us to shift our vision, to see the evolutionary path we are walking along, and that we are all companions. Yes, amen. Jamie, I pray to feel intimacy. Rob, I pray for beauty. Becca, I pray for wholeness in our hearts. Myra, I pray to feel my being as God. Yes, Oriana, I pray to receive divine guidance and follow with the action of my next step. And the prayers continue on and on. Let them lift and impress themselves on the cosmic grooves of this journey that we're on in the universe. And I turn my word to you, beloved Krista.
Yes, thank you, David, and thank Jamie, thank Christina in the beginning, thank Suzette for this beautiful, amazing evolutionary journey. And let me turn off my sound here so that I'm not beeping. We were on a journey with Jamie in the beginning. Remember that beautiful meditation on hope. And then Suzette took us into a journey of awakening our unique self and asking these questions. Who am I? Why am I here? What is the gift that I have to contribute? And listening to all of these yummy, delicious, ecstatic stories of what it means to become Homo Amor, the fulfillment of Homo sapiens, what it means to be a part of this Unique Self Symphony here in One Mountain, but also in the broader sense, being a sacred activist in the world, embodying this Dharma and enacting this Dharma, this new story for a new humanity in the world, and giving our gifts and committing our outrageous acts of love. It sounded to me like it's all ecstasy, and it is, because there's this field of love that is kind of dwelling in the spaces in between us, that is constantly lifting us up, and we are ecstatic. But as Dr. Mark always says, is the agony and the ecstasy. So here we are holding that paradox, and I just felt how beautifully, David, you brought us home by also bringing that part of ourselves in, where sometimes in prayer, whatever prayer means to you, sometimes in intimate conversation with life, we are not feeling it, and we can feel contracted, and we can feel that it's too much, or all these broken parts of us start to say, do I really belong here, or is this really for me, or am I worth it? So I just wanted to bring also that part of ourselves in, and know that that is also welcome here and also held in outrageous love. And listening today to these amazing stories, I can't imagine, well, I mean, I can imagine that all of us are thinking, how can I get some of that yumminess? How can I step in? How can I join? So luckily for all of us, there is a way to join. And I just want to invite us to feel for a moment these 300 and I think 6 or 7 weeks that we are here together, and to feel that we are kind of in a circle around this beautiful Dharma that is emerging here. We are kind of holding the space holders and the midwives and the mid-husbands maybe for this revolution, for this Dharma that is emerging in the space in between us. And every week, we as this band of outrageous lovers, we come together and we place our attention on this Dharma so that it can grow, so that Homo Amor can be birthed into the world. And we are grateful for Barbara Marx Hubbard and for Dr. Mark Gaffney to take us on that journey, and to take that, the first initial step is to articulate this Dharma, to study, to read, as Dr. Mark Gaffney does, for hours and hours, to meditate, to feel our way into what is this new story. And that's what we're developing here. But the second step is, and the invitation is, what are we going to do with that? And so first we're developing Dharma, but then the next step is also, how are we going to share that Dharma? How are we going to bring that Dharma into the world? How are we going to, as we say, penetrate public culture with it? And one of the ways that we feel here, all of us, we feel together, the best way to do that is to bring this new story into the books and what we call the Great Library. So we spoke about this before, but one of the projects that we're intimately working on here together is to bring all of the 300 episodes, which is a lot of them, and bring them to publish them into books. And that's a project that has been going on for quite a while already. A lot of volunteers have stepped in to transcribe all the recordings. So we have all the transcriptions. Then a few people, of which Joycey is one of them, took all of these transcripts through the first edit round. And we're now in the process of bringing another group of people together to take it through the second editing round and really make it look really beautiful and poetic and gorgeous. And then we're going to take the next step of publishing the books. And that's going to take a whole nother process, meaning formatting the books, indexing the books, designing the interior and the exterior, creating covers. And we're trying to keep the cost for this whole publishing process as low as possible, because as you can imagine, 300 episodes, as I calculated it, I think it's going to be about 25, maybe 30 books that we will be publishing in the next years. So even though we try to keep it as low as possible, and we're all working on it together, editing, proofreading, and you're welcome to join in that project. I'll share a bit more about that later, but there will still be costs. And I did a quick calculation to see what everything would cost, and I think it's about $1,000 per book. So as a community, we want to kind of nurture and take care of this project together. So I want to invite everyone. I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. I know that a lot of people are already members here, but I just wanted to share a little bit about the projects that are kind of happening behind the scenes and what we're now looking to fundraise some extra resources for. So maybe you're not yet a member. I want to encourage everyone, step in if you can, give $50 a month. That will really help us to fund this amazing project. But if you are already a member, maybe you are able to actually what we call adopt a book and actually give $1,000 or $2,000 to actually make one book happen. And if you can and if you will, we would love to kind of acknowledge you by giving you a special page or something beautiful inside the book. We can talk about that, how you want to be, how you want to participate in that. But also maybe you have friends that you know that can help with this project. I was talking to someone this week, and that's exactly what came up. He said, well, actually, I don't have any resources, or I can't do that, but if you create something beautiful like a PDF or a page or something that I can show people and I can excite them about it, I can share it with my children, I can share it with my friends, and maybe they'll actually be able to fund it. So that's what I did. So long story short, that was my introduction to show you that on our website here, if you go to onemountainmanypaths.org/evolutionary sense-making books, I will also make sure that it shows up here in resources soon. You can see here, this is the fundraising page. So here you can see it's just a mock-up, just to give us an idea, what would that actually look like? Imagine 25 of these beautiful books. And the first 250 episodes are actually under the brilliant leadership of our co-executive producer, Christina Tehel Amelong. She is leading this project and she's leading the team also working on this. And she has generously offered her beautiful art to be in these books. So she's an amazing photographer. I could say an evolutionary photographer. She really knows how to capture God and intimacy in her images. So those images will be in those books. So here's just an example of what a book could look like. We share a little bit about the vision. Here's another example. It's just a mock-up. The cover will change, the title will change, but Elena is working on the book on Ukraine, which we are looking to publish this year. So all of these amazing topics that we spoke about in One Mountain will be available in books. So please take a look at this page and give whatever you can give, whether it's $50 a month, whether it's a one-time donation. Even if you give $10, of course, every dollar is welcome. But also if you are able to share your time, please reach out to us and connect with us, because me and Christina had a lot of conversation about this, and our excitement here is especially to create kind of an evolutionary sense-making community with all of us editing together, coming together, having some awesome team meetings, sharing outrageous love together, and co-creating together. And like Mark says always in the Dharma on pleasure, the greatest pleasure is to stand for a greater cause together. So that is the invitation for all of us today that we are inviting each other into. And with that, if you want to know more, you're welcome to reach out, and please take a moment to share this page with your friends, to share your excitement with maybe a particular friend that you know that might help with this amazing project. So now, as always, we dance it out with some music. So you will be invited to turn on your camera so we can see each other. We'll have some epic music and let's just dance together. Christina, please take us inside.